You know, most people know about the wines of Italy as Chianti or Barolo or Barbera.
Right, the
But
more well-known ones.
Well-known. I often like to bring to friends' homes wines. See, Italy is so diverse, not only in the food, but in the wine. You could drink a different wine for lunch and dinner every day for an entire year and never repeat it.
Right.
So that means we have to go to Italy for a year.
For a year.
At least.
At least a year. I brought some wines from the town of Tremonti. This small vineyard has some of the oldest vines in all of southern Italy. The vines are over hundreds of years old, 200-300 years old. And this particular one with the Fruta di Mare and Pacori is a white.
Perfect combination?
Yes, it's a blend of ancient grape varieties of Campania.
Do you have a cheese that would go well with that?
I certainly do. I certainly do. And the cheese that you would have with this particular white wine would be something a little bit more delicate. You could actually have this white wine with your fresh mozzarella di bufala.
Oh, wow.
Now, often when we serve the mozzarella di bufala, we serve it with some tomatoes and basil. I'll drizzle a little bit of good olive oil on it.
So, Lou, I think that what we also want to talk a little bit about, because I have a feeling we're running out of time, is the standards, the Parmigiano and the Grana.
Okay. Well, to be considered an authentic product in a tradition, they form what they call consortiums. Mm-hmm. A consortium is a group of producers that band together, that say to each and every one, we're going to keep a certain standard to maintain certain quality, and to have what we call a uniformed trademark. In the case of Parmigiano, you see Parmigiano Reggiano. Parmigiano Reggiano, these trade, and then you see, I just happen to have Consorzio. Consorzio is the group of producers. And then I'd like you to taste this particular Parmigiano Reggiano because this is made in the summer. And you'll notice the color. It's so yellowish, golden yellowish.
It is. It looks like summer.
And this is because this is the time of year the cows are free grazing on freshly cut grass. It's not in the wintertime when they're feeding on dry grass and a little bit of alfalfa, it'd be snow white.
And actually, as you're saying that, I can picture that I have seen more white Parmigianos than that.
Barbara, that's what's special about this cheese. You know, I have a piece of Grana Padano over here. I just want to show you the color difference.
Well, wait, before you do that.
Okay, you want to taste it?
We have to have a little taste.
Okay,
so, Agnello, I'm going to share this with you.
Oh, yes, yes.
But you know, I would have, this cheese, when you taste it, you'll see it's got a buttery quality to it, a slight bite, and slight amount of the crystals, the protein, the amino acids that turn into protein. Those are those little white dots.
The little
that
white
you see.
speckles. You taught me that a long time ago, and I can't tell you how many people I have shared that with.
Yeah. And this is what people often mistake it for salt. It's not salt.
It's not salt.
It's not salt.
That is
the aroma
wonderful.
is fantastic. But I just want to show you the difference in the color of Grana Padano.
Should I move something for you?
Yeah, this particular Grana here, and you see again, it's a consortium which has, again, the name Grana Padano.
And the diamond shapes.
Yes, and a big clover leaf. And this signifies that this is the authentic product. Now, this is the first cousin to Parmigiano Reggiano. In fact, it has an older history than Parmigiano.
And it's Italy's favorite table cheese.
Well, it's certainly the #1 selling cheese in most of Europe, and in Italy included. But this is made in the spring, okay? And look at the difference in the color. Even though the cheeses are made basically almost the same way, they're produced in two different areas of Italy. This is above the Po River. This is below the Po River in Emilia-Romagna with a little bit of Lombardia, just a little below the Po River. But you notice the color? It's pinkish white. Golden.
It's beautiful.
Okay?
It's definitely more golden. Wouldn't you say? You can really see the gold.
Yes, you can see the
Why
difference.
is that? This is the time of year the cows are feeding on young, tender grass.
New grass, right.
It's very vibrant green, emerald green, and flowers, wild flowers that permeate themselves in between the grass that the cows eat as well. And this gives a very complex flavor, whether it's Parmigiano Reggiano or it's Grana Padano. Depending on the season, you're going to get some different characteristics. And you know, that's what makes these cheeses special. They allow it to live its life the way it's supposed to be. If it's made in the winter, it's going to taste like winter cheese. If it's made in the summer or the spring or the fall, we're going to have 4 seasons of these cheeses, and it makes the cheese great.
And tradition and the consortio don't allow you to rush it. It's not ready until it's ready.
Right. There's minimum aging on Parmigiano Reggiano, minimum aging on Grana Padano, and then we have different levels. For instance, you can have what we call a young Grana Padano, aged 12 months, and it would be almost just a table cheese. Or sometimes you might want to use it as a melting cheese. And then the average age is 16 to 18 months. And then we have a special Reserva on Grana Padano, which is aged 20 months to 30 months. Parmigiano Reggiano, on the other hand,
For you?
we like to age it a little bit longer, anywhere from 24 months to 3 years. And that has to do with fat
Some for you?
and type of production method.
Well, I think I keep these both in my house all the time, and I do cook a lot of pasta dishes. And sometimes you have a pasta dish that you think would blend better with one than the other, because I have a tendency to feel this is a little sweeter. The Grana is a
more
little
delicate,
sweeter.
More delicate, you're right. And in that case, remember, this comes from above the Po River. What's grown above the Po River? Your rice.
Rice.
So this lends itself well with
To risotto.
And in Emilia Romagna, they do a lot of tortellini.
Yes.
They do a bolognese sauce. It's something you need more
Of a fattier,
or an intense flavor.
sharper, right.
And Parmigiano Reggiano lends itself to that. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I love them even just as a table cheese.
Oh, I think they're fabulous
They're
table
great.
cheeses,
very
don't you,
tasty.
Agnello?
Yeah, I like
Yes.
the flavor.
Yeah,
of both of them.
fantastic.
But the other thing I think you just said is when you're thinking in terms of pairing food, wine, cheese, if you get things from the same area, they generally complement one another in the same region, as opposed to trying to say, now what goes with this? But if you think about the region and that everything comes from the same region.
Barbara, the Italian Trade Commission just came out with this new book. It's called The Foods of Italy.
I was looking at this
Now,
before.
the Foods
It's
of Italy,
fabulous.
they break down the 20 regions of Italy and give you an indication of what's special in each individual region. Now, when you're traveling to Italy, when you're in a specific region, whether you're in Tuscany or you're in Sicily, look for the specialty dishes
Of that
the
region,
wines of
right.
that region. This book is a guide, a reference to give you a little bit of an insight of what's special there. And I think it's done very well.
It's a beautiful book, and I noticed that the size is really handy. You could also carry this with you
That's
when
right.
you're visiting Italy. And the Italian Trade Commission has been so generous, thank you so much,
It's a
Agnello,
pleasure.
to tell me that I may offer this on my Facebook page, Stress Free Cooking with host Barbara Selig Brown, and I'd like each and every viewer who visits my Facebook page to have a copy of this book. And they will learn so much about the foods of Italy, because the food of Italy is just like an endless journey of Italy, don't you think?
Yeah, I think food of Italy is made up of a few products. The most important thing is that they should be authentic.
Authentic.
Because authentic food, they give their flavor. I mean, what Lou was talking about, I mean, these products are authentic and you can smell them before taste them and mix together. I mean, people at home, they can mix together the way they like.
Well, and I think
Something
also,
very simple to do. What is important is to have the right product, the
And-
authentic one.
and we've talked about this before, how simple it can be to create a great dish.
Yes.
For instance, just a simple imported pasta, a good quality pasta, an authentic pasta with authentic tomatoes from San Marzano tomatoes and some basil, and you have a perfect dish. Sprinkle some Parmigiano Reggiano or some Grana Padano on top of that,
Yes.
and it's a perfect dish. And how
Exactly.
simple is that?
Yeah.
Keep your house well stocked with authentic Italian products. You can have dinner on the table in no time and impress all of your friends. I'm Barbara Selig Brown. I'd like to thank my friend Agnello Musella from
Thank
the
you.
Italian Trade
Thank you
Commission
for having me.
for coming. And I'd like to thank my friend Lou DiPaolo of DiPaolo Fine Foods in New York City for joining me. And I hope that you've all had a great tour of Italy with us. Please join me again on Stress Free Cooking.
Stress-Free Cooking is brought to you by... From the sunny Mediterranean comes one of the world's finest olive oils for all your cooking needs. Pompeian extra virgin olive oil, classic Mediterranean, and extra light tasting. Pompeian makes everything better. From our table to yours, O-Pee-Chee Wines, fine wines and spirits from around the world since 1913. Cutco, the world's finest cutlery. Melissa's, the freshest ideas in produce. And Sub-Zero Wolf Appliances. Enjoy Barbara Selig Brown's cookbook as she shows you how to make stress-free dishes in the comfort of your own home. Offer made by Stress Free Cooking for $19.95.